everyone, I'm Lara and welcome to the College Office. Except we are not actually in the College Office today because I'm getting ready to start a brand new series called College Spotlight. I'll be talking to some amazingly talented Broadway performers about their own experience applying to and attending college. I'm really excited about our first guest, who's someone that I've actually known since I was 14 and spent a summer at Stage Door Manor. So you may have seen Nikka Graff Lanzarone opposite Sherry Renee Scott, Brian Stokes Mitchell, and Laura Benanti in Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Or maybe you caught her as the iconic Velma Kelly in Chicago. Most recently, Nikka was in the off-Broadway revival of Sweet Charity with Sutton Foster. If you're not an NYC, more likely you have heard Nikka's upbeat and excited voice every week on the Ensemblist Podcast, which she co-hosts with Mo Brady. They've just launched their third season, and they're talking all about the Broadway community, which, frankly, is a community I would have died to be a part of when I was a kid. I'm really excited to talk to Nikka about her experience applying to and attending the Boston Conservatory, where she got her BFA in musical theater. So let's do it. Here we go. Hi, Nikka.
Hi,
How are you?
Oh, you know.
Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for asking me. I feel so special.
Of course. All right, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
So tell me about you as a senior in high school. Where did you go to school? What kind of student were you?
So I grew up in Los Angeles and went to a performing arts high school called Hamilton Academy of Music, which was a small magnet program inside like a giant public high school in LA. But they did, we did really great, cool productions and had really cool people come and set a lot of original choreography and the stuff that we were doing. I feel like I learned more about how to really be in a show in high school than pretty much anywhere else. Because I was dance captaining and running rehearsals and doing a whole bunch of stuff that I have had to do professionally that I didn't get to do in college really. So I feel like I had a really solid basis for my professional training from high school, and I knew that I wanted to continue that in a conservatory environment, and I know that a conservatory environment isn't for everybody, but I was not one of those people who tested well, so I knew that I wanted to be in a school where not a lot, the percentage of weight given to test scores versus essays or auditions. I wanted more weight to be placed on ways that I could prove myself physically as a person instead of how well I filled in bubbles.
Sure.
So I went after, the same, it's still the same, 8 or 10 schools that everybody I feel like goes
So
after.
So what are the schools that you applied to?
So this has been a minute.
I know, I can't remember all. I know I would have applied to 8 schools. I don't remember what they are. So the best you can do.
Totally. So I applied, I think, Boston Conservatory, Ithaca, Cincinnati, Carnegie Mellon, NYU. I was going to apply to Michigan, but I did not feel like doing a piano piece, so I didn't apply to Michigan. I applied to UC Santa Cruz because I knew I wasn't going to get into UCLA, but I wanted to do my due diligence in the UC system for some reason. Webster and Point Park.
Okay. Did you find any piece of the application process particularly challenging?
I think just making sure that you knew what every single school wanted for their particular audition and making sure that all of your material could tick off most of the boxes for each of those schools.
Yeah.
But
did you have a system for that?
We did. There was a group of us who were all sort of going through it together, and so my parents and a couple of other parents and our acting teacher, because we were taking a Sunday morning acting class, and the head of the department at my high school, we all sort of banded together and decided to before college audition coaches were a thing, sort of formed a pilot program for so that we all had a place to refine our material and we all had a really solid idea of what we were doing and what each school wanted, and that we had a place to work things out.
Great.
And yeah,
So you had like your acting teacher and the parents helping with the performing part of it. Was there anyone helping you on like the application part?
I think I might have done a little bit of like SAT tutoring, but
you were really more focused on
I was really more focused on if I can just explain myself, then maybe I can get people to understand me a little more.
Sure.
As standardized tests have never really been my jam.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you get in anywhere besides Boston Conservatory?
I was going to Ithaca. My mom went to Ithaca College. She was a drama major, and I auditioned for Ithaca, and I got in, and I was actually waitlisted at Boston Conservatory.
Okay.
And so like deposit was like paid. Like I was going to Ithaca, and then we were doing Sweet Charity. Actually, it was like my last musical, and I got to the theater, and our director was like, "Hey, go call your mom."
Before cell phones, right?
Not quite.
Okay. Because I remember getting like a call from my mom at school being like, "Come home, you need to come and see your letter."
Totally.
Yeah.
It was like we had cell phones, but they weren't kept on all the time.
Sure.
It was not like the phone that you keep on all the time. It was the phone like you turn on to make a call.
Right.
And they lasted for like days on a single charge. It was so delightful. So I called home, and like that had never happened. And I was like, oh God, something horrible is happening. Oh no. And my parents both picked up the phone, and they were like, so we have, you got another letter. And I was like, what is happening? Who died? What horrible thing is going on? And then, then they said you got in off the wait list at Boston Conservatory. So now you have some thinking to do.
Sure.
Some pro-con lists to make.
Yeah.
High up on that pro-con list is that there is a direct flight.
Oh, to Boston. Right. Oh, that's really interesting.
And not like a flight
and
to
then
somewhere else, and then like a 4-hour bus ride from somewhere in upstate New York.
So that was like a factor in your decision.
It kind of was a factor.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's hard. My husband did a year at Cornell, and it's far.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Right.
It's really far.
Right, absolutely. And especially when you're flying across the country first,
and then getting on a bus.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider.
Yeah, like it's actually closer to the city.
Yeah.
To get on a bus from Boston, it's about the same.
Yeah. Totally. Actually, it's like 6 hours to Ithaca, and it's like 4 to Boston. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, so you went to Boston Conservatory. Did you ever have any regrets about anything that you went through with the application process, with the decision you made? Anything you would have done differently?
I don't think so. I think maybe knowing what I know about myself now, I would have wanted to go somewhere that had more sort of school classes options, but I also didn't realize that was something I was interested in until I was an adult and could step away from the needing to do something for a grade and thinking about like, no, science and math, and I don't do math well, but it is interesting to me.
Sure.
Are some things that I feel like I have sort of a mind for, but it took me not being required to do those things to realize that they were interesting to me at all.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point, actually. I kind of had the same experience of like, when I look back on it now, you could never have told me that I shouldn't apply early to NYU, because I was like, I have to go to NYU, you don't understand, this is what I have to do. And now I'm like, yeah, but like, what if I had gone somewhere else? I was always going to come back to New York.
Exactly.
So
I desperately wanted to go. NYU was my first choice. I desperately wanted to go to NYU so badly, and I did not get in. But
and look, you turned out great.
And everything's fine.
Yes, and everything's fine. Absolutely.
And we actually did a 2-part episode of the Ensemblist about with the thesis of there's no one way to Broadway.
Yes.
And we made sure that we talked to people who had gone through what I call like my own experience of like in being in one of those really highly specialized programs, and people who have BAs in theater, or like Jed Resnick went to Brown and studied classics and is a working actor in New York City, and my friend Molly Tynes, who was in the original company of Pippin and is this unbelievable singer, dancer, actress, aerialist. And has a degree in Russian literature. Yeah, like, I love it. And so many people who didn't go to college at all, or decided to put off going to school and go later, or didn't study. Like, there really is no one way to Broadway. Right. And it's always going to be here. Yes. And New York City will always be here. So studying different things only makes you a more interesting person. And a more interesting person is more equipped to tell the stories of what it means to be human than someone who is not as well-rounded. Absolutely. I think that's such a great point. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for having other interests. Yeah. So that being said, you did go to a conservatory. I did go to a conservatory. So how do you feel like the program that you did go to prepared you for your career now, both on stage and the work that you do off stage? I feel like it did not in the slightest prepare me for anything off stage. Okay, interesting. Because there's no way there's so many hypotheticals, and like, you can say this is what's going to happen, and you can intellectually understand like, okay, this is going to happen, but until it actually happens to you, it's not gonna, it doesn't drop in the same way. Right. I think I learned a lot about how to work with a lot of different personalities, and how to sort of navigate that kind of a working environment, and knowing that for this teacher, you're going to have to do X, Y, and Z because that is what they like. This teacher, however, hates that. Yeah. So if you do that in this class, and all of that stuff, all of that managing of personalities and figuring out where you can fit, that's really, really helpful. Yeah. Because you still have to show up and deliver the product. And it's your job also to remember, like, oh, I know this casting director hates when you sing something like this, so I'm not going to sing something like that. But this casting director is like all about it, so you still have to, you have to show up and be the best person for the job, while also sort of keeping in mind reading the room and knowing where you are and knowing what it is you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, that's great. And I think that's important kind of all over, across the board, no matter what you do, managing those personalities and kind of knowing how you fit in the world that you exist in is really important. I think so. Yeah. I feel like the earlier we can know that, the better people we become. Absolutely. I'm all about collaboration. So you've kind of touched on pieces of this, but if you were to offer one kind of solid piece of advice to somebody getting ready to go through the college application process, what would it be? It's not the end of the world. It's just not. It feels like it is. It really feels like it is. And not getting into NYU was like soul-crushingly devastating. And I still moved to New York. Yep. And I wasn't particularly one of the favorite children at the Boston Conservatory. And I came up against a whole lot of people who weren't super invested in what I had to offer. But if this is what you want to do, it will always be here. And it's okay if you get here and go, oh God, this isn't what I want. But because hopefully you've spent some time becoming a well-rounded person, it's not going to be as soul-crushing. Yeah, I think that's really, I mean, I just think, I can't say that enough. It's like, I really do wish that someone had said to me, New York is not going anywhere. No. It's theaters, it's here. That Broadway is not the be-all, end-all. Yeah. It's not, it's a wonderful, very tangible goal. And it's easy to say, okay, I've checked off that box, now what? But what you will learn is that some of the greatest artistic experiences and personal experiences that you can have making work that you love and you believe in will not be on Broadway. Yeah. And that is okay and sometimes better.
Right.
Because Broadway is it's finite. It has to do with the geographical location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has to do with the Broadway box.
Right.
And like, yes, it exists as like this huge sort of, it's a very tangible goal. It's something that you can achieve. But if you know that what I want to feel like when I wake up in the morning is this,
Yeah.
sometimes those two things are not always in alignment.
Right. Great. Yeah.
Which I have to tell myself
Yeah.
constantly.
Right. So that being said, are you working on anything now? Or you? Good.
You know, just trying to.
Well, the Ensemblist is incredible. I was listening this morning on my way in, and I was listening to the third season, the Broadway Community, all about there were all these hidden alleys behind theaters where Broadway cast
stage
sneak
doors
into,
butt up against each other.
Oh my gosh, I was
Amazing.
a little teary. I was like, I love that this exists.
And also because real estate in New York City is its own weird special animal.
Yeah.
And the weirdness of real estate in New York City exists everywhere, even in Broadway theaters.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or where can people find you if they want to ask you questions?
I love questions. If there's a social media outlet, I am chances are at Nikka Lanz on that outlet, NIKKALANZ. And I have a website, but it is my name, and that's complicated, so maybe you can throw up some...
Just copy and paste from the title of the
copy
video.
And paste, and it'll show up, but
Yeah.
there is a contact form on that website, and I really do like talking to people, because if there's anything we can do to help each other out, because we are, in fact, a community, and that's the other really amazing thing about the Broadway community exists worldwide.
Yes.
Broadway or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
Because theater people understand what it's like to be the
Yeah.
island of misfit toys.
Yes, I don't remember who said that on the podcast, but I was like, it is the
All
island of misfit toys.
all of us, we're all so
We're
weird.
all so strange. It's okay.
And we find each other and we make art, and that's okay.
And we stay in touch for,
a redacted number of
very
years.
long time.
It's
okay.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Thank you so much for doing this,
Thanks for
Nikka.
having me.
It's so great talking to you. Yay, thanks. So how fun was Nikka? Sorry about the weird unfocus thing on the camera. I will definitely have that fixed for next time. Make sure that you look up Nikka on social media at Nikka Lanz, and follow me at College Office Law on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And you can like me on Facebook at Laura in the College Office, and subscribe on YouTube to be the first to find out when a new video is uploaded. See you guys next time. Thanks for visiting me, Laura, in the College Office.